Hey, what's up, collecting crew? I'm Jay Feezy, and welcome to Hot Talk episode 40. That's right, I'm back. Man, after a a couple months hiatus, I'm back. Yeah, it was a long one, and missed a lot of figures, but I had to take a break. I'm back talking figures now. There's quite a few to talk about, actually, so the figures I might be talking about in this one, Hot Toys announced and released. They're about a couple of months old as of this recording, so just FYI, keep that in mind. As usual, I will have timestamps in the description below, though. If you want to jump ahead to any certain figures, you can feel free to do so. Doing things a little bit different in this episode. Like I mentioned, I'm catching up on some figures, and so I figured I'd do have this be pre-recorded, just because, again, I know I'm behind. Others have already talked about these, but I figured I want to do these, still discuss these figures and talk about them and get that information to you all for those collectors who may find this useful, right? Who may come back in the future and reference this, or even if you already are aware of these figures, it's always good to have this be an additional resource. And so that's what I aim to do here in this channel, just be another resource for you all, like-minded and fellow collectors out there. So hopefully this helps. But all right. And like I said, there's quite a few to catch up on, quite a few released, some announced, so we'll go ahead and get into this first one here. First up, we have Kamen Rider V3. This is Riderman. Yes, another Kamen Rider V3. This is the second figure from the V3 show. Kamen Rider, Riderman specifically. So this was announced back, like I said, in March. I'm catching up some figures here. So we're set to release Q1, Q2 2027. 260 USD, not a bad price, standing at your typical 6 scale, so just under 12 inches, 30 centimeters, 30 points of articulation, so it's going to be well articulated. Let me go ahead and jump to, actually I should have had this already queued up, but let me jump to the accessories here so you guys can take a look here while I go over these for those of you that are listening. So he's going to come with 10, all the digits in both hands, 10 pieces of interchangeable gloved hands. Your typical pair of fists, relaxed hands. You will have some rope holding hands, though, knife hand, strike, gesture hands, and then so he'll also come with a pair of handshake gesture hands that you can use with Kamen Rider V3, the other figure that I mentioned. This is the second in this V3 line, but the first one that came out previously, which I discussed on Hot Talk episode 24. So if you're curious or interested, be sure to check out that previous episode, Hot Talk episode 24, where I discussed that first Kamen Rider V3 figure. And I think there's some photos in here that shows them also. But yeah, you get this pair of hands. Let's see here. Oh, right here. Let me go ahead and zoom in, enhance. Here in the bottom, in the middle, you can see this sculpted pair of hands. One attaches to like I said, the first Kamen Rider V3, another one to this one here, this Riderman. And have like this kind of shape, which is kind of cool. I mean, yeah, you kind of incentive for you to buy the other figure, right? But it's still kind of a cool accessory for those who are those big Kamen Rider fans and who have that already. It's like a nice, cool little bonus there. I guess you can see it as a bonus. If not, then I'm sure it'll just stay in the box. He has all these interchangeable arms here for his right arm. So I wasn't, not gonna lie, I wasn't familiar with this specific version of Kamen Rider V3, but I reading the description on Sideshow, it does say that this was, for those that aren't aware, this is a former elite scientist of an evil organization. Something happened, he lost his arm, in which he replaced it with this like cybernetic / prosthetic one, kind of like you would have your who am I thinking of, Trapjaw from He-Man. It has like multiple different appendages that you can swap out, and you can kind of see some photos here. So it's kind of similar concept here, where he has lost his right arm and he has these different attachments here that you can swap him out with. He has like this hook. One of them has like a grapple, kind of, not a, I don't want to say chain, but a ball and rope, I guess. And then he has his Captain Hook going on here, and then this other like kind of beetle slash crab like attachment, and then like this drill, you know, for some, like, I don't know, if you want to hook someone up for some dentistry or something. He has this kind of needle nose drill here going on in his arm. But so yeah, he has about, what is that, four attachments. And then like I mentioned, all those hands has like this hexagonal stand. Let's see here. Yeah, it's like the diorama. No, it's not like diorama. It's just like, a hexagon stand. Let's see here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He no mask sculpt, just the head, the helmet with the LED lights on the helmet. 2 interchangeable lower faceplates though. Yeah, so he has those going for him. We're seeing that with some figures here with just the cowls or the helmets. Actually, speaking of Daredevil, who we'll take a look at later, has those as well. So yeah, there's quite a few figures that obviously I'm sure you've all seen that utilize those swap out faceplates. So this Kamen Rider has that, kind of different from the others, right? So for those of you who are familiar with Kamen Rider fans, you guys know usually the Kamen Riders have like a full-on helmet. So this one has more of like just like a half helmet type of thing, where his lower face is exposed. So that's kind of a switch up. I think this might be the only one actually that I recall as of now that has this from Hot Toys anyways. Kamen Rider show characters, there may be others. You guys tell me. I'm not, like I said, I'm not that familiar with Kamen Rider myself. Never got into it, but yeah, for you fans out there, you can, another one to add to your collection here. But anyways, yeah, so, you know, like I said, he was an elite scientist, lost his arm, and he went from bad to eventually being good, and he fought alongside this Kamen Rider V3, like I mentioned, like I've already discussed in prior. And then he eventually became apparently Kamen Rider 4, number 4, the 4th one. And I don't know how many there are, but yeah, so he kind of a little backstory there. I thought that was kind of interesting to read up on him, because like I said, I had no idea who he was. But yeah, let me go through some of these photos. Here's the 2 faceplates here up close, a little more closer view here, and then here's his swap out attachments here on his right arm. I was kind of looking at it looks like the rope can attach to multiple items also, because I see this one has like, it's like attached to like a sort of side type of end. It's like this rope's coming out of his arm, right? And then like there's this one attachment here, like a scythe or some sort of blade. And then this other photo has like this what do you call it, like the mace, like the ball with the spikes on it type of thing on it. So he has that. So I wonder if each one comes with the rope, or if you can just swap out those attachments there at the end. Yeah, interesting here. So yeah, multiple displays. Oh, and he actually does have a right arm here to swap out in addition to his other. So I guess this is like before he lost his arm, and then you can swap out his arms, Mega Man style here, for these other attachments. Okay, slash trap jaw style. So yeah, different poses, light up eyes here. You can see here in the photos they're showing an example of his eyes being lit up, or the eyes of his helmet, anyways, I should say. Sorry, yeah. And then here he is standing next to this. This is Kamen Rider V3 here that was previously announced by Hot Toys. And so these two end up fighting alongside each other here. Spoilers, sorry if you're sorry, I just ruined that if you were just getting into his V3 series and that anticipation was building up. But yeah, so here's another photo demonstrating the use of that pair of sculpted handshaking hands. Yeah, here, so Riderman and V3. That's a cool pose, though. That's a cool accessory, though. If you have, like I said, if you do have both and you pair these up together, that's a cool look. I like how the colors kind of contrast each other. The kind of lighter green for the V3, and then Riderman is all in this black undersuit. Yeah, it's kind of cool. All right, but yeah, so Riderman, Kamen Rider V3, $260 USD. All right, going on to the next announcement here from Hot Toys, and I forgot to mention that we're going to go through all the announcements first, and then we're going to go over the releases here. So next up here with the release, we have Deck in the bone armor from Predator Badlands. Deck and Bud, got his little partner Bud here. Again, let me go back, start with the accessories photo here, so you guys can kind of take a look at these while I read over this. So this was announced in April, so we're set to release Q2, Q3 of next year, 2027, $360 USD. He's setting at 12 inches, so 30.5 centimeters, so exactly 12 inches, according to the Sideshow website. Like similar Predators, limited articulation, so this guy's only going to have 16 points of articulation. I believe that was the same as the previous deck. And we will look at some photos here in a little bit. I'll compare the this deck to the previous one and kind of mention some differences that I spotted. So of course you guys let me know if you see any more. But yeah, so actually speaking of here, let me go through these accessories here for this one, this bone armor. 2 sets of interchangeable mandibles, kind of same as the previous one, open and normal. His arms and legs made of soft vinyl, seamless material, so seamless joints that are made of soft vinyl. Let's see, 6 interchangeable hands, one specific to, or a pair specific to holding the weapons that this version of deck comes with, as opposed to the other one has a different set of a pair of hands apparently that hold the weapons that one came with. So I'll kind of go over those here in a little bit. Let's see. So this one does come with newly developed bone bison armor on a brown colored fur fabric cloth. So a fur fabric cloth. So that's kind of cool. That one comes with a bone bison mask, of course, again, because this is a bone armor, black colored tunic, pair of wrist gauntlets with the Luna Bug Fang wrist blade on the left gauntlet. So you can kind of see, oh yeah, down here, this like crab like looking piece. I guess that's the Luna Fang there. I don't recall that. I'm sure that he had that in the movie. I just can't remember at what point, or nor that if that's what it was called. Let's see, pair of greaves, razor grass whip with a bendable wire embedded, 2 combi sticks, one combi stick with 2 sets of interchangeable tips for retracted and extended modes, 2 cryo grenades, 1 spray snake, squirt, quote unquote squirt, yeah, spray snake. Let's see, I'm not sure what that is. I guess we'll see if we can look at some photos. But yeah, he comes with it, and apparently it does have a bendable wire, a foldable plasma sword, and then a Rocky Train themed dial base that you can kind of see. I'm sure we'll see other photos here, so you can kind of see it here. It's like not your typical either hexagon or rectangular base. It's kind of a Rocky themed diorama base there, so that's kind of cool. And let me actually go through some of these photos here. And then Bud, let's see here. Bud is standing at 6.3 inches, so 16 centimeters. Of course, newly developed head and body with, says, highly detailed sculpted hair. And Bud has 4 points of articulation. And looking at the photo, looks like it's probably going to be his 2 shoulder joints. So his left and right arms looks like they rotate out the shoulders. I'm guessing his neck would probably rotate, so that's 3, and then 4 would be his waist, because it looks like there's a cut there on his abdomen for an articulation cut, I should say, that kind of goes across there. So just based on, so that would be his 4 points of articulation. Going through some of these photos here, again, it's kind of saying that just the arms and legs are made of, they're seamless but made of a soft vinyl. The different interchangeable mandibles here, the closed and open mouth, separate rolling eyeballs. Let's see, highly detailed and screen accurate costume. You can kind of see more of the fabric fur cloth here in these photos. Let's see here in his bone bison mask and the armor here, which actually looks kind of cool. This photo here on the left, it kind of showing the mask covering kind of, I'd say like 3/4 of his face, maybe like 2/3. Reminds me of the the Darth Vader from Obi-Wan Kenobi, the battle damage one with the slice on it, like how it's kind of partially cut open. You kind of see Anakin's eye and part of his face. This is what this photo reminds me of here. So kind of like, especially with the way they pose it here, with how he have angled his head down and his eyeballs, he's just looking at you with his one eye, at least in this photo anyway. So yeah, that looks kind of cool. Here's a close-up of his weapons here. Where's this spray? Oh, I'm thinking it's this weapon here that's attached on this photo to what appears on his left shoulder. That's what they're calling the spray snake or squirt. That has a bendable wire in it. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, it is. Yeah, I think it is a snake, but I don't. I'm trying. Oh yeah, okay. I think there was. Yeah, that was a. I'm trying. It's been a minute since I've seen the movie. I think there was a scene where there was all these snakes and he tamed one and he had it apparently like just start. It was like obedient to him. The snake was just obedient to Dick. Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that now. And it was just like squirting, quote unquote, on command. Yes. Yeah, I know, right? That's right. It was squirting on command. Take that as you will. So this, again, showing the mask. This actually looks cool. You can kind of see his eyes piercing through this bison armor, or this bison mask. And it does actually look it does really look reminiscent to Anakin or Vader here. The way, because the skin, how it looks like it could be like burnt or just, charred or, I don't know. Yeah, it just has like a resemblance to Anakin here for some reason. That looks kind of crazy. Here's his whip, like I said, with the embedded wire, the grass whip, and then here's Bud, again showing the 4 points of articulation, them together with his here's Deck with the fang, the Luna fang on his gauntlet. Yeah, so pretty similar to the previous deck, just different accessories here. So speaking of, let me go ahead and switch over. So here on the left, we have MMS 849, and that was the first deck that was announced by Hot Toys from Predator Badlands. And here on the right is this one we were just talking about, MMS 873 deck with the bone armor. Bone armor. All right, so this kind of just gives you an overall I just wanted to show this to kind of compare like the overall appearance and the overall uniform between both of these to kind of give you an idea. It's probably, I figured it's always better when you see them side by side, right? I mean, someone could say, yeah, they're different, but I figured it just helps to see them side by side so you can kind of visually see the differences here. So that's that. And then the accessories here. So I put the photo of both accessories up here again for comparison, kind of help kind of give you a visual of what these, what comes with each one. So I did my best to kind of go through and spot the differences based on the description on Sideshow and kind of looking at the photos to see what I can tell that are different. So sorry if I missed something. Just let me know in the comments if there's anything else you notice aside from what I'm going to point out here. But so the bone armor version of deck comes with the combi stick and a pair of hands to hold the combi stick and grenade holding hands. So he comes with hands for those. He comes with a pair of whip holding hands, right? So that's seems like it's only exclusive to this version, this bone armor version of deck. Of course, I mentioned bone bison armor comes with that, and that fabric cloth, that brown colored fabric cloth, the Luna bug fang that goes on his wrist, his left gauntlet, the razor grass whip, the combi stick with the 2 sets of interchangeable tips for retracted and extended modes. That comes also with this version of deck, the bone armor one, the cryo grenades, and that squirt, the spray snake, and then this rocky terrain diorama here comes with the bone armor deck. So for the previous version of deck, the one with the standard, the one that came with Thea, right? So that's the option where you can get deck by himself or get deck and Thea. So that version, the MMS 849, that one comes with black dynamic. So the dreadlocks, dynamic dreadlocks, like they both have the slick back dreadlocks, but the previous version of deck has the dynamic kind of hair flowing in the wind. Right here, you can kind of see it on the left, on the upper left there. There's a photo of it there. Let's see here. That version of deck also comes with a bow and arrow holding hands, a pair of shuriken holding hands. Let's see, his shoulder cannon, a plasma sword in a folded state, a folded bow and an arrow that is magnetically attachable to deck's back, a shuriken in an open state, shuriken in a closed state, and then 2 wrist blades. And then the base for that version of deck is a rectangular base that has kind of like some sort of like design, sandy dirt theme design on it. So you can kind of see here on the bottom, on the left side, towards the bottom there. And so yeah, those are the differences that I spotted. Everything else that I read off earlier for this new version of deck, that comes in both, right? So there's some that they do share. But the ones that I just read right now are those are the ones that are different, at least that I've seen. So again, correct me if I'm wrong, if I missed anything, or if you notice anything else on those. And then, but yeah, so you got choices. I'm always a big fan of choices. You got your pick for either one of these, and maybe they might come up with more. I don't know. Maybe there's, again, it's been a minute since I've seen the movies. I can't remember what other looks he had in this, but maybe we'll see. I know a lot of people are hoping we get a full-bodied Thea, not just a half-bodied. So, I should say the other. Yeah, I don't want to say too much, but yeah, you guys, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But all right, so that was Deck and Bud. Deck bone armor from Predator Badlands. Let's see here. All right, going on to the next one. Let me switch up. We got Wolverinepool, man, or AKA Wolverine is what they should have called him, right? So this out of nowhere. This just came out of nowhere. I think I was out of town. I was on vacation when this was announced, and this was announced on April 1st here in the States. So yeah, April Fool's Day, and I'm sure many of you thought this was a joke. I think he even said one of the hashtags, I forgot to write that on Hot Toys or Sideshow's post. I think it was Hot Toys post, actually, the English post. The English version of the post had like April Fool's Day, I think is what it said. Not Fools, but April Fool's Day, if I remember correctly. And yeah, so I thought this was a joke, but then I kept reading it, and then sure enough, I saw it eventually go up on Sideshow. Like, holy shit, wow, this is real life. And so yeah, I was a little hesitant at first, but once I found out it was real, I was like, oh man, okay, this is a must buy for me. I had to try to get this, because you guys know me, I mentioned this on other streams. I like unique figures. I like figures that don't follow the norm for the most part, right? Of course, there's some figures that I get that that we all remember and love, like Iron Man. There's your typical Iron Mans, Luke Skywalker's, things like that. Your the basic ones, but there's just also a lot of other ones that are unique and cool and just kind of stand out, and those are the ones I also usually gravitate to. So this, for one, was a no-brainer for me, because it's both two characters that I really like. Wolverine, I love Wolverine, and then Deadpool. Yeah, I really enjoy both those, and I have each of those separate in their own right, those own figures. So yeah, really cool. It's kind of interesting though. A lot of people didn't like this. I'll put a pin in that. Let me give you some more info here. I'm sure you're all waiting on this here. I will say though, I mean, I know what good is this going to do, right? Because it's already, last I checked, it was waitlisted on Sideshow. It was limited. It's a Hot Toys exclusive. So let me go here. So, okay, like I said, announced April 1st, 2026, $285 USD, limited to 2,000. And yeah, like I said, the last time I looked, it was waitlisted. But this was like a couple of weeks ago, I believe, when I last looked. So I don't know if was available again at some point. But as always, get on the wait list if you are interested in this, because there's a good chance it'll convert. I've seen a lot of people saying in my inner circle that they get conversion stuff. So I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, right? So get on that wait list if you're interested. Standing at 12.2 inches, 31 centimeters. And then I just realized I didn't get it, the points of articulation. How many points of articulation is? So apologies on that. I don't know if it just didn't have it or what. I guess I missed that. So sorry. If I can get it here if I remember to get it here in the next minute or two, I'll remind you guys. But yeah, apologies if I guess I'm just forgetting here. But yeah, so let's see. So yeah, another interesting. Maybe I didn't have it on there. Maybe that's probably why I didn't put it on there. But on Sideshow's website, last I looked, anyways, there was no what's in the box section, because you go to the website on Sideshow, you go to Hot Toys, and they have like the sections about description, what's in the box, shipping, and all that jazz. But yeah, there wasn't anything that was listed in the what's in the box section. That's the section that usually tells you just that, right? The accessories and more about the figure, what it's made of, all that info. So yeah, I had to go on the Facebook post to get some of this information. So sorry again if I'm not getting everything. Kind of looking off of the photo and going off of the description on Facebook here, the post anyway. So what is this? Eight interchangeable hands, There's a newly developed katana holding hand, some pistol holding hands, pair of fists, and claw gesture hands. There's 2 katanas with the scabbards that you can obviously see in the photo. The scabbards are magnetically attachable to the figure's back, dual pistols, and 2 sets of claws with a pair of slashing effects here. So the base, it does come with kind of like another hexagon shaped base with a Deadpool and Wolverine logo on the top of it. It's probably like a sticker. It does say Wolverinepool on the front there. And then, yeah, 2. So it says attachable claws. So it looks like you can attach them to do 2 different sets of hands, right? Like I mentioned, there's the claw gesture hand. So kind of more of like an open hand look. And then he has his fist where you can put the claws on. So, but then again, yeah, I'm not sure. Because maybe you can. Oh, so it's probably that situation where you can just remove like the forearm, down the forearm, the back of the hand on where, what do you call it? The forehand, I guess. I don't know. I'm blanking on the term, but you can like remove those and swap them with others. So, yeah, I wonder if that's the case here, like the others. This hasn't released yet, obviously. So, I'm guessing that's probably was because that's the way it was in the other Wolverines, right? You can kind of remove that portion of it and put it there. So maybe you can use them any of those 8 hands that he comes with. But yeah, really, really cool. Oh, 3 pairs of interchangeable eyes. You can kind of see the different looks here. He has kind of like a squinting pair, a regular open pair of eyes, and then like a wide opened pair of eyes. And I presume, I'm trying to see, we'll try to see if we look at some other photos, but I'm trying to see if those eyes are swappable at the sockets or if it's like the whole ear cow piece section. I don't know. I don't see any lines around the eyes itself, so that'll be interesting. I wonder if it's like it's the whole what is that whole ear horn piece that you have to remove from there. Yeah, that's actually interesting. I didn't really think about that. But if they wanted to hide the lines, they didn't want to make it so like the lines were prominent around the eyes. That's probably the better way to do it. So yeah, it looks like it does. Looking at some of these photos, it looks like there is like a cutout along that the black ear horn piece there. So yeah, we'll look at some other photos. Let's see here, make sure I didn't miss anything. But yeah, for those that aren't familiar, this is based on concept art. So this is a concept art version of Wolverine / and no pun intended, Wolverinepool. And their Hot Toys did release some other concept art figures, and we'll take a look at those here in a little bit. I did put a slide together to kind of compare all those. Make sure, so hopefully I don't forget that since I'm just rolling solo here on this pre-recorded video. But let me go through, some more of these photos. So here's the slash effects here. Oh, wrong, let me zoom out. Attachable claws and slashable effects, yep. And this is from, obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine, if I didn't state that earlier. So this figure's based on concept art from the movie Deadpool and Wolverine. Man, that would have been so cool. I wonder why they cut that out. I'm curious now. I need to read up on that and see why this didn't make it in the film. That would have been real cool to have that in there. Let's see here. So yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, for some reason some people they weren't feeling this one. I thought when I realized this was real, like the announcement was real and this figure was real, I thought a lot more people would be excited. Of course, there were some of the ones who I knew that I know that are big Wolverine and or Deadpool fans that wanted this, but yeah, a lot of people were just like, meh. It's kind of interesting. I wonder. I mean, that seems to be the case usually when there's characters, or I should say figures, that aren't based on actual characters in movies or TV or something like that. Like I noticed just collectors if it didn't actually happen or take place in a movie, they're not interested, which is interesting. But I mean, obviously to each their own, we all have our preferences. Like I said, I just like this because it's different and it's 2 characters that I really like put together, amalgamated, an amalgamation of the 2. Yeah, so there's like just different, they have him in different poses. So he looks to be pretty well articulated here from what I can see. Elbows get past 90 degrees, knees get past 90 degrees. So, those are the 2 main points. The biggest thing is the ankles for me. I'm trying to see if I can see some photos. For me personally, a figure also has to have really good ankle articulation because, I like to have those poses to get him in like at different stances, and you want to be able to have his ankles tilt appropriately. Let me see here. Yeah, kind of going through these. Yeah, it looks like they kind of do here in this photo here. He's kind of doing that pose, like that kind of triangular kind of stance, hero kind of standing heroic pose type of thing situation. But no, I mean he comes with the typical Deadpool weapons too, right? The katanas and the pistols. Yeah, this is really cool. I definitely picked this up. So yeah, needless to say, I did pre-order it because again, unique. It's really cool. Yeah, I'm sure this figure seems like fun too. You can have some fun with this figure. All right, so I mentioned Hot Toys previously did some other concept, or they announced some other announced and released previous figures based on concept art. So let me kind of swap over here. So here are the three that were actually based on concept art from their source material, right? So they did some others, like I know there's a concept artist or an artist concept line, like the Samurai Predator. I personally didn't count those just because it's not really based. That was just like an artist's interpretation of a character, right? They're kind of taking their own liberties. These figures were based on concept art from a movie, like let's see how, like they were potentially going to be in a movie, right? They were, whoever the designer of the movie, they drew up these characters and they were possibly going to make it in it, but they never did, right? So that's just the difference that I made, where they were potentially going to be in a movie as opposed to like an artist just taking their own liberty, not really based on anything in particular. So here on the far left, we have MMS 488, which was a 2018 Toy Fair exclusive, and that's the Captain America all black stealth suit here. So the concept art version where he's all in black. I think even his shields are black. The round shield that he typically has, it's kind of like alternating between silver and black, and then he has his like traditional kind of like what is that shape? What do you call it? Like kind of like a V-shaped shield, like his traditional like first Captain America shield. That one is black, I believe, also. Then we have in the middle this MMS 606, which is the Iron Strange, and this was based on concept art for Infinity War, but that concept art showed up in the Avengers Endgame book, the concept art book for Avengers Endgame. But this version of Doctor Strange was supposed to be in Avengers Infinity War. This figure I have, man, the figure is so cool. Again, this is another good example that it's unique. Like a specific, not like a twist on a familiar character. Obviously, Iron Man. Would be like a what if version, right? This would be cool too if they had this version of Doctor Strange in a what if, one of the what if shows. I can't remember now if he was. I'm trying to think. Either way, man, it's just the concept is so cool. They even swapped out the chest plate, the armored chest plate for the typical Iron Man one for one that has like the medallion with the time stone in it. I forget what that medallion is called here, but it's the one that houses the time stone in the movies, in the Doctor Strange movies. Yeah, Doctor Strange movies. I think that was, I'm forgetting now, but anyways, yeah, really, really cool. So I know it was a lot of reuse stuff. I think it was like, what is it? The Iron Man Mark 50 suit, I believe it was. And a lot of people were turned off that, but I think it's cool. So then on the far right, the last one here, the third one is MMS 778, and that's the concept Darth Maul. And now I'm forgetting here where this Maul was going to make an appearance. I think it was in episode, I believe it was episode 1. It's either that or Clone Wars, right? It had to be one of those two. Yeah, I forget where he was going to make an appearance, that he had this look. But again, yeah, it was based on concept art from one of those source materials, either the movie or the Clone Wars animated show. So yeah, these are the three that they've done so far. As of this recording, right? I guess I know I'm a little behind. There's some other concept arts, but I will address those. I'll talk about those in the next couple episodes of Hot Talk here. So again, I know I'm just a pre-recording of figures that I'm catching up on from the past. So yeah, there's another one, a Star Wars one, but I'll discuss that here in a later one. All right, so yeah, that was all the concept arts. Jumping from concept art, Wolverinepool, aka Wolverine. Speaking of Wolverine, you can't have Wolverinepool without the Wolverine. Next up, we have this Weapon X, comic-based Weapon X, and oh man, this one looks awesome too. So Let's see, this is CMS 34, so part of the comic line again, hence the comic. This was announced towards the end of April of, let's see here, so yeah, a couple months ago, set to come out Q2, Q3 2027, $270, setting at 12.2 inches also, so about 30.5 centimeters, 24 points of articulation, so a decent amount of articulation, a good amount, I guess, compared to the deck, right, previously. Body made of silicone material with an inner metal skeleton, which is pretty appropriate for this character. For a seamless joint design, you can kind of see here this whole body is seamless, which is awesome to see. So you love to see it. Let's see here. 4 interchangeable hands with claws, including a pair of fists with claws and a pair of claw gesture hands. And I just realized, again, I gotta go back and here we go. So yeah, it doesn't come with that many hands. It only comes with 4, but all of them already have claws attached. So actually that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I guess you figure for this version of Wolverine, this kind of Weapon X version, I don't know what, yeah, I don't know. It would be good to have more options, but I don't think it's personally necessary. Kind of like the 2 from the basic, from the few stances that he does have, or the few, I should say, displays, or like the actions that he does do here during this mode here, or the mode, this version of him, I should say. A pair of black colored shorts. Let's see here, brown colored belt with a silver buckle, harness, monitoring equipment, including control console, battery packs, receivers, and cables. It doesn't mention anything about anything being LED light up. So I think it's just a paint that is going to give the effect that they're all activated or lit up. A Weapon X comic book cover backdrop, which is kind of similar to, it looks to be similar to the, more to the James Bond, the 007, Daniel Craig 007 Hot Toys figures, how that had that backdrop that was reversible. I think it's more similar to that than it is to Hono. Hono has more of like this, you can get, it's meant to have like a comic that you put inside this kind of a clear, I presume it's acrylic. I can't remember what the material is, but it's clear acrylic, kind of like casing, and that kind of goes into the base that kind of then rounds down up onto the platform, whereas this is kind of more, looks more matte, and there's no casing on this. So I think, yeah, it's more similar, this base is more similar to like the James Bond 007 type of display base here. And so yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, you don't get a lot with this, but again, the price is pretty, I think it's kind of adjusted for that. Again, $270 USD, full silicone, seamless body, and it does seem to be similar to the same body that was used for the TVA jacket slash shirtless hot summer Wolverine, or thirst trap Wolverine that Hot Toys released. What was that? Was that already this year? I can't recall which year was it. But yeah, the one from with the TVA jacket, also from Deadpool and Wolverine. So it seems to be similar here. But let's see. I think I mentioned. Yeah, I think I call it all the other accessories. But yeah, seamless ankles also. Yeah, the only thing is, let's see here. Oh, wonder. Let's see. Does it say full body? Yeah, body made of silicone material. Okay, so it seems like, yeah, the whole body is going to be seamless. I presume the waist also, although you can't really see the waist in some of these photos. Let's go through some of these. Yeah, because the belt's coming in. But I don't know. Does that really matter? Because if that's going to hide it, I wouldn't think it matters. Right? But that'd be cool if it was all seamless. And it doesn't mention the type of silicone either. It doesn't say platinum or medical. At least, not that I saw, unless I missed it. But let's see here. Yeah, see, it's made of silicone material for a seamless joint design. So I wonder if this is kind of up in the air what type this will be, right? Because they don't specify here. But I mean, it does look great. Just like the TVA jacket. I didn't get that one, that version of Wolverine, the TVA jacket. So I don't know for how it looks in hand, but from these photos, this Wolverine looks great. Musculature, muscle definition on here looks awesome. And yeah, a couple of questions. I think a lot of people are wondering: is his helmet going to be removable to some degree? It didn't say in the description, but I wonder what it looks like if you do take it off. If you decide to take it off yourself, I'm pretty sure it's going to be your own discretion, like at your own risk type of thing. It'll probably send the instructions not to remove it, but I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if people are gonna remove this this head with the helmet on it. If the helmet's not detachable, if you can just remove the whole head and swap it out for another Wolverine. Yeah, actually, that's might be a good idea. I didn't even think about that. That could be an option, actually, huh? Because I was on the fence on this one. I don't have any version of this Weapon X of this Wolverine in any scale. I should say I don't have this version in any scale. And I collect, some of you may know, I do collect multiple scales. I have a lot of 12 scale and 6 scale. So I don't have this version. But yeah, this looks really cool, man. Like I said, I'm a fan of Wolverine. But I already have a couple. I already have a few of them, both Hono and the Hot Toys version. So yeah, I don't know. I'm at that point, like a lot of you collectors out there, where I gotta be selective. I gotta be more so selective on which ones I get. And I do like this, but yeah, I'm a little hesitant. That should probably already be my answer right there, right? That should have already. If I'm already in doubt, or if I have some doubt, it's probably best I just pass on it. If I don't absolutely love it, right? I think I just kind of answered my own question there. But I don't know. This does look good, man. Look at like the weathering and I would say the shading here on the helmet. He has his only one feral look, his gritting teeth look here, which is appropriate for this version of Wolverine, right? Because he was kind of crazy and feral, and yeah, they captured him and experimented. And this is where they gave him his adamantium here. This is per the comics, like based on the comics. This was during that process, and he ends up escaping. So that's why he has all this gear on him, for those that aren't familiar. Yeah, damn, this looks good though. Another thing too I'm kind of concerned about is, like, we haven't had the Hot Toys figures with silicone material. We haven't had them long enough to kind of see how, when I say we, I mean like us in general, like how long this will hold up. I know people on, I've seen posts and stuff where people have had issues where certain joints were ripping and tearing, but I mean, I don't know, that could be for a number of reasons, like unique circumstances, or just not handling them properly. So I don't know. I don't think we've seen enough to see, like, longevity wise, how long these will hold up. So I think that's still up in the air. I don't think they're gonna last, for life. I don't think we're not gonna take these to our graves. They're not buy it for life figures. I don't think. I mean, if they are, more power to them. That'd be really awesome if they do. But I don't know. Something tells me they're not gonna last that long. And obviously, as always, your environment, how you treat the figures, plays a factor in that as well, of course. But yeah, I think even if collectors take proper care of them, I still don't think. I'm thinking they're not going to last long. I don't know. Obviously, compared to plastic, if you just have figures with hard plastic, the hard plastic will, I think, will outlast the silicone. But I don't know. Like I said, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because yeah, if you obviously want these figures to last a long time, I definitely do. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. But either way, this looks good. I think I might be passing. We'll see. Unless I get a really good deal on it. Right? So no, that still doesn't solve my space issue. But yeah. All right. So that was Weapon X, based on the comic version of Weapon X of Wolverine there. Okay, going on to the next announcements that we got. The Man Without Fear, Daredevil from Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Let's see here. So this was announced the end of March. Set to come out Q2, Q3 2027. $280. So was that $10 more than Weapon X was? So this is standing at just under 12 inches, so 30 centimeters, 30 points of articulation. So more points of articulation than Weapon X. Again, let me switch over to the accessories. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So accessories. So this is, I forgot to mention for those of you listening who aren't looking at the photos, but this is the black suit, or the black spray painted version of Daredevil. I haven't seen the second season, so I'm not sure what the deal is behind this. So I can't give any more information on that, on how this came to be. I don't know if I want to know, because I don't want to spoil it for myself. But yeah, it kind of just looks like Matt Murdock spray painted over it himself, and he probably did like a rush job, because there's some little shades of red peeking through. So yeah, I don't know if that actually what happened, but I guess I'll find out when I watch it. So let's see, Matt Murdock head sculpt. So this one does have the Matt Murdock head sculpt along with the Daredevil cowled head with interchangeable. Let's see here, 2 types of interchangeable cowls that show different levels of weathering effects. Oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't even pay attention to that. So interchangeable, and we'll have interchangeable lower face plates or faces for the cowl. Let's see here to show you different expressions, and 2 interchangeable cows here. So we'll have to take a look at that to see what those 2 different ones look like. Interchangeable parts. Okay. Oh, so one cowled. So it's one cowled head with interchangeable parts. Okay. Let's see. 30. I mentioned it. So 10 hands. We'll have 10 hands. Some of the your basic ones: fist, relaxed hands, open hands, claw, gesture hands. Let's see here. So newly painted black suit. Yep. Weathering effects that reveal the original red color beneath the worn black paint. Yeah, like I was mentioning earlier. Let's see here. A billy club holster. A lot of these are kind of similar to the previous one, and we will look at a comparison of the this one compared to the previous red suit version of Daredevil. So speaking of that version that was also released, we'll take a look at that figure, and yeah, we'll get to it. Don't worry, we'll do comparisons. Because I know some of you are curious. I was curious myself, hence why I put it together. Let's see here. Sunglasses with red colored lenses. So yeah, a lot of the same kind of materials, just kind of our accessories, just in black compared to the red. Hell's Kitchen themed magnetic diorama figure base with the Daredevil logo, and I can't remember if the previous one was magnetic as well, but this base looks pretty cool. We'll take a look at some photos. It's like a square base that looks at first glance kind of similar to like the Winter Soldier, Captain America, Stealth Suit 2.0 bases, but we'll take a look at that. Here, actually, we'll kind of scroll through these photos now. So yeah, the billy clubs look like it has a wire with or bendable wire rope that attaches the tube between the two, similar to like the previous red version of Daredevil, the first version from Born Again. But yeah, we'll take I don't see why they wouldn't make it different, right? Or why they would make it different. So yeah, here's the base, magnetic, like I mentioned. And it looks like it has a sewer or manhole cover, which looks kind of small. But I mean, I guess they just went for the effect. But I think that's what that's supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know. It looks kind of different. Part of it, yeah, is it like a sidewalk? No, that wouldn't make sense to put a manhole cover there. But maybe it is what it's supposed to be. Looks like it's a sidewalk that then goes down onto the street, because you can kind of, looks like asphalt with some potholes in it, and it looks like, appears to be water. That actually looks cool if that's paint. So it looks like it's supposed to be water in these potholes on the road. Has cracks. The weathering was actually really done here on this prototype here. I know. And there's like this yellow line, dash line, so I think it's supposed to be a road. That looks actually really cool. I like the way this base looks, this street themed base here. I don't know if you want to call it a diorama, but yeah, so like I said, painted suit, battle damage effects throughout the suit, interchangeable lower face plates. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, I see. Okay, interesting. So for those of you listening, so there's a version of the cowl so the front part of the cowl looks like there's a lot more black and some like scratches. You can kind of see some red showing through. So that's one version. And then there's another version of the cowl, of the front of the cowl, that has more of the black worn off, and it's kind of more around his left eye where you see some more of the red. And so I wonder, I'm guessing you can kind of see what I think are the seams of where you'll be able to detach it. Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to attach. I kind of see the seam lines kind of going up and through the middle of the side of the head and back. So maybe, I don't know. Either way, it seems like you're going to be able to swap it somehow. But that's kind of cool that they give you, display options. They could have just left you just with the one cowl and just called it a day. But yeah, they're giving you display options. That's cool. Matt Murdock head sculpt here. We're looking at with the glasses with the red lenses. Still looks pretty good. Let's see here, and I believe it's the same one. It's the same sculpt as the previous. I'm just realizing I don't think I got a comparison of the photos between the two head sculpts for the black suit and the red suit versions. But Yeah, I presume it's the same, but yeah, I can't say for sure. Because I mean, it's pretty much a similar figure. It's supposed to be the same, from the same show. It's just the suit is black. And why didn't I put that in there? If anything, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so I do have a photo that compares the two suits here. So look at that as well. As well as, yeah, like I mentioned, we'll compare the two suits. I just didn't have the two head sculpts together for some reason. So my apologies on that. Let's see here. Yeah, here's going through some of these photos. Articulation looks to be pretty good. I don't have any Daredevil actually in my collection, so I'm not sure how well that suit holds up, or if at all, as far as like, or how it limits articulation. But it looks pretty good. Yeah, so if you're interested in this version of Daredevil, this black suit version, you add it to the collection. I wonder how many more versions they're gonna Hot Toys is gonna release of Daredevil. I guess I gotta find out by watching the second season. I guess I need to get on that, right? But yeah, so Daredevil black suit from Born Again season 2. Okay, so that was all for the announcements. Going on to the releases. So going from the black to the red version of Daredevil. Here we got Daredevil Born Again in the red suit, like I mentioned. Let's see here. Make sure I'm looking at the right one. So yeah, these are all going to be releases. So I won't go over the details on like what these what these figures come with accessory wise, because for the most part I already spoke or discussed them on previous episodes of Hot Talk, and I'll mention which ones those are. And I actually have links in the description below too if you want to go check those out. If I've forgotten a link to a certain episode, just feel free to let me know in the comments, or you can just go to my YouTube channel and type in the search on there. I believe you should be able to search within my channel for a certain figure, and it should be able to come up there for the previous episodes of Hot Talk. So this was released mid-April, this version of Daredevil. I did watch some reviews because I was curious on here. I watched a review, I should say. Some things that were interesting that I wasn't aware, and I can't remember if this was mentioned in the description or not on Sideshow's website. But so the cowl, there's a cowl that comes on a stand, right? And when I first saw those photos, I initially thought that you can remove that. Well, see, it's weird because he's holding this here. No, this is probably the one that, no, actually, because this is, yeah, okay. I don't know. This is weird because when I saw the review, the one review that I saw, they were saying that you can't remove the cowl from the stand, which I thought was weird. But here's a photo of the cowl on the stand, and this is how we saw it in the announcement photos, right? So we kind of saw it like this. But then if we just saw this picture here where they have the figure he's holding this cowl, that same cowl that's on the stand, the damaged one that he's missing a horn with the D. He has one horn and the other one looks like, it appears to be the D, the D on his cowl. But he's holding it. It's not attached to the stand, so I'm not sure what the deal is. I would just say read the instructions. I'm sure it'll stay on there for sure. That's why I always suggest reading the instructions, because it could have stuff good or bad that you would know. Right? Either like that'd be good to know, or that you weren't aware of, or just something that it's probably best that you do know so you don't cause any damage to the figure. So I'm always one to read the directions, just because sometimes I always find out something new about a figure that I didn't realize, like, oh damn, it can do that. I had no idea. But yeah, so that was weird about that. Watching the review, that's something I learned. And then the cowled head sculpt, you can't remove. So the cowl on that one is attached to the neck peg. All the cowl does, it just lifts up, and then you just swap out the faceplates. Because like I mentioned, this has, like the previous figure we were looking at, what was that? The Kamen Rider. So this one also has, this Daredevil has to swap out faceplates as well, just like the black version that we were just looking at. But to swap them out, you have to lift up the cowl on that head sculpt with the cowl. You lift it up, and then you can just remove the faceplates, and then you put the faceplate back on, and then you push the cowl back down. I guess that locks it in place, I guess, to prevent it from falling out. So that was kind of weird. I don't know if Hot Toys has done that before. I can't recall off the top of my head. Another thing to note is that the knee pads are glued to the suit, so there's no Velcro. The knee pads are, so just be careful of that when you're bending the figure, kind of like in this photo here, how he's kind of on his knees and has the knees bent. I don't know if you'd want to keep it like that for a while, because I would think the glue would wear off over time. I personally haven't had that issue, but that's because I don't do that. I don't leave my figures in this type of pose for a while. So but yeah, just something to be mindful of, so like here, right here, this is an awesome pose. Has them jump in this pose right here. This photo, Daredevil is leaping through the air, kind of doing like a tiger knee for you Street Fighter fans. But yeah, you can kind of see this kind of, let me zoom in here. This knee pad here is kind of flaring out a little bit there. Yeah, just be mindful of that, I guess. Oh, this is a cool pose right here. We just kind of, looks like he just leapt from the building, falling straight down. Kind of Spider-Man style from the Spider-Man game is what I'm thinking of, is what pops in my head, where you kind of dive straight down. But yeah, it's really cool. This figure looks like it came out cool. One of the things, a lot of people didn't like about it, of course, were the double D's missing from his chest. The black suit had it, but it was in black, and so a lot of people were hoping that we see another version of this suit with the double D's on it, if not in Born Again and the Born Again TV show, but maybe in an upcoming movie, maybe in Doomsday or Secret Wars. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Yep. There's Zord again doing his thing. Shout out to Zord Photography. I like, as I mentioned before, I love how he uses bases from other figures, or just, other figures, not necessarily Hot Toys, to kind of just pose these figures. Bases from other figures, and he just has fun, man. He just, and he just does a great job posing. This is, pretty sure this base right here with the snow rooftop is from the Spider-Man No Way Home Final Swing figure. Yeah, so it's really cool. Yep, really cool poses here. Look at this. Awesome. All right, so that was Daredevil, Born Again, red suit. And as I usually do with the releases, Hot Toy releases, I like to compare the proto head sculpts, to the final head sculpt, just to kind of give myself and you all just kind of my idea of any changes, if there were any changes between the proto and the final, because obviously, as we know, the final can be a little different, if not a lot, from the proto, depending on the figure. And it's just for reference. Like I said, it's just kind of to see. And again, I know obviously these are photos and they're taken from a certain aspect. The lighting's going to be different. I try to get the same angles with some of the photos, but it's not done by the same person, so the angles are going to be different. So just keep that in mind. It may look slightly different in hand, but again, like I said, just to give you an idea, for me personally, I think this still looks pretty good. I think the final looks pretty not far off from the proto for the most part. Most of the time the proto is really good, right? Because that's kind of done just one version of it, done by with taking more care and time on that, whereas like the final is the mass-produced version, so you're gonna lose some details for the most part, but I still think it looks good. I'm not getting it's a pass for me, but I still think it looks good for what we got. And again, I think this is the same head sculpt that they're going to use for the black suit as well. But you guys let me know if that's not the case. I should have had the comparison photos, but I just forgot to put those on here. All right, so that's the head sculpt, and then like I mentioned, the black suit versus the red suit. So we have the red suit here on the left and the black suit on the right. I was kind of looking at these myself and trying to see if I can spot any differences, but like you guys know me, I'm not one to kind of really nitpick the minute details of figures and characters. So I mean, just kind of like looking back and forth, I don't really see any differences other than obviously the color. But they look pretty identical. Like I said, the suit looks pretty identical except for the colors, and of course the D's on the black suit, but they're missing on the red suit. So yep. Again, you guys let me know if you spot anything else. So yeah, just again reference in case you're curious, you want to see how different they are, which they don't seem to be that different, I guess. Again, other from the color. All right, so let's see here. That was it for Deadpool. Sorry, Daredevil. I was looking at the next figure. I just it jumped in my brain. Next up, not necessarily Deadpool, but we got Nicepool. So Nicepool was also released from Hot Toys, also from Deadpool and Wolverine. This one I discussed in Hot Talk episode 11. Like I said, link in the description below if you want to check that out. See, this was released also mid-April-ish. Let's see here. This was about. This was after being announced like the end of 2024. So the last day of the year, at least here in the States, is when this was announced. December 31st, 2024. Yeah, so a little over a year. Like, yeah, a few months over a year. Let's see. So a couple of things that we'll go through some of these, some of the blogger photos here. Watching this review, a couple of things that I noticed about this that I didn't realize before. Again, I may have missed it in the description or I just don't recall, but the sheaths, his katana sheaths, are magnetically attached to his back. I did hear that you kind of have to be careful with that because his hair gets in the way. His hair will move the sheaths or knock them off, depending on if you're rotating the head and the hair hits it. So you kind of have to be mindful of that. Maybe you want to hold it in place while you rotate the head to make sure the sheaths don't fall off, or move his head first and then put the sheaths on, so you can kind of to prevent it from falling off. But yeah, so there's that. And then the ankle articulation is limited on this as well. And I think, if I recall, it seems to be the case with all the Deadpools that have come out recently, where you have a hinge, right? So there's a hinge. It's not a ball joint. It's like a hinge where it only rotates one way, right? So if you have it, I'm guessing out of the box, you're gonna be able to rotate the ankle front and back. But if you want to get any rocker side to side, you have to rotate the peg, which will allow the foot to rock left and right, if that makes sense, right? Because it's that type of joint where it's not a ball joint. It's more like a hinge, and it only rotates one way. It rotates in a way that you can either go one direction and then you can like rotate 360 around, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if I probably just confused all you guys to help, but I'm sure you know what I'm saying. If you're familiar with figures, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, yeah, so that was kind of a bummer to kind of learn that. Yeah, see, that's one of my pet peeves. Is like I don't like I mentioned in the previous figure that we were discussing. I can't remember which one it was now, but Wolverinepool. I hope that's not the case with the Wolverinepool, but yeah, just like ankle articulation, right? Because you can't do any really good dynamic poses if you can't really rotate the ankles, or they don't have good ankle articulation. That kind of kills the stances that you can kind of put them, or limits, I should say. It doesn't kill it, but it really limits the stances and the poses you can put these figures in. Again, Zord is just, man, again, like I've said this before, tell me you're having fun with your figures without telling me. And like he kind of shows it well. He just has this creating his own scenes with he has Deadpool here and then Nicepool together. He has Wolverine here pulling Deadpool away from Dogpool. Yeah, it's just funny, man. It just made me laugh when I was looking through these photos. Yeah. So again, shout out to Zord, man. I mean, and no shade to the other bloggers. I mean, you all do a great job. I mean, obviously you were chosen to take these photos of these figures for a reason. So shout out to you. Yeah, it's just Zord just made me laugh the way he did his photos there. And then we're gonna look at here in a little bit. We're gonna look at the comparison between the proto and the final head sculpts here, kind of show you the differences in there. So yeah, it looks like a fun figure again. It's just this one's done by, I forget, is this no, this isn't. I was gonna say this is not. I forget this photographer's name. Let's see here. Yunal Tao. Yeah. Apologize if I butchered your name. I'll just say YNT. Yeah, YNT. Yeah, this one here is where he has like Deadpool holding up Nicepool, where he's using him as a shield. This one made me laugh too. Yeah, so shout out to YNT here. Yeah, it's funny. He's glorious. Yes, I got them. Yeah, the golden guns. Every time I say that, it always reminds me of the golden gun from GoldenEye, the game, the Nintendo 64 game classic. If you know, you know. Yeah, so this one came out good. Yeah, I think the head sculpt looked good. Speaking of, let's go ahead and switch over that now and compare that. Let's see here. So here, again, Proto on the left, Final on the right, and like I kind of same situation where the Proto is more detailed, especially like in the beard and some of like the looks like the wrinkles in the texture, but the Final still looks good. I'm not gonna lie to, in my opinion. Again, another one I'm passing on, but it does look good. From the one review that I did see, I did notice that the smile looks kind of like half-assed, or it kind of looks fake, like he's like it doesn't look genuine. It just kind of looks awkward. Here in this photo, it seems to look fine. It looks like the Proto, but I guess when you move it around at certain angles, like the smile just looks weird. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you're or anticipate that, I should say, or maybe you won't think so when you get it, but just maybe something to consider when you get it in, because that's just what I heard from that from the review that I've seen. All right, so that was Nicepool, Deadpool, Wolverine. Going on to the next release, we have the Artisan version of Moon Knight. So this is the Artisan Moon Knight from the Moon Knight TV show here. So we did get a previous version of Moon Knight that was kind of more of like a clean look, and I think it's one of the criticisms some collectors had when they had it. It's just it looked too clean. It was too white. Whereas this one is more weathered, and of course it comes with the Oscar Isaac unmasked head sculpt for Moon Knight. And so we'll look at some photos here. This was released end of March. This was discussed on Hot Talk episode 24, so if you're interested on that one, feel free to check out that episode. Again, link will be in the description below. So we'll go through some of the photos here. Let me go. I just passed right back. Went right through this photo here. So here's the first photo of the head sculpt with the Artisan hair. Likeness, I think that looks great. That looks like Oscar Isaac to me. Again, it's just based on the photos. This one I did have on pre-order, not gonna lie, but this was already at that transitioning point where I was like, okay, you know what? I really need to, again, be selective. I have to kind of look at all my pre-orders and see which ones I need to trim off, right? Start trimming that fat, trim the fat off, and just kind of start curating some of that ahead of time. And so this was one of them where I thought it really looked cool, and a lot of people were saying how good the previous version was, the one without the head sculpt, and how awesome of a figure that was. But I just didn't have that like strong attachment to Moon Knight. I was like, you know what, I think as much as that Oscar Isaac head sculpt, how well it looked based on the Proto, it's just, it wasn't one where I was kind of debating, and because of that I was like, okay, you know, if I'm debating and it's not an instant, oh yeah, I need to have that one, then it was it hit the chopping block. And so yeah, I ended up canceling it. But you're welcome to whoever got that waitlist conversion, because I canceled mine. Hopefully you're enjoying it, and all of you who ended up getting it, hopefully you are enjoying it, and you like the way it came out. And apologies for those of you that weren't able to get it. Hopefully you're able to score one down the road, or you have a waitlist conversion at some point. But yeah, this does look good. It's more weathered, as I was mentioning earlier. This has like a more darker, kind of grayish tones to it, grayish and like off-white, kind of dirtied colored, which I personally like too. Like, again, I preferred this look over the previous one, but overall, again, it's just like a character that I didn't really kind of one that didn't really be like, okay, it's a must-have for me. But it does look cool though. Again, it looks really cool. So watching the review on this, I don't know if, again, I can't recall if this was mentioned or not before, but the eyes, I think actually this was the same, so it should be the same on the previous version, but the eyes are battery operated. Now that I think about it, I think this was probably the same. So LED eyes on the full mask, which are battery operated. But the light, I think this is why I made a note of it, but the light is in the neck peg. I know we've seen some of that before, like I think on the recent T800 figure, and then who else? I think it was K2SO that had the light on the neck peg, right? And then you just slide the head sculpt over, and the light just shines through the eyes. The eyes would be kind of like a somewhat either translucent or semi-translucent color or paint or material so that way the light can shine through. So I think that's how Hot Toys does most of their figures that have LED eyes, which makes sense, right? Because you don't want to have anything attached, any wires or anything attached to the eyes, because there's a chance of either failure or something breaking or coming apart, especially if they're removable. So I think the way they're doing it is like a smart way to do it, just kind of. And plus that allows you, I know some people were kind of mentioning that, what's a good way to have both movable eyes and have them be light up. Again, for example, like a Terminator, I can't recall if the T-800 had movable eyes or not, but yeah, if you want to have both, I think that's the best way to do it, to prevent any damage from the LED eyes if they did have a wire or something connected to it, right? Or if the LED was in the eye itself, I'm sure that would be, it'd be really hard to repair too, right? If something did happen, and for some of you DIYers who wanted to repair it yourself, it'd be a pain in the ass, I think, to repair. Whereas like if the neck peg, you have the lights in there and something happens, I'm sure I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but it would probably be easier to repair that or replace that than it would be the eye. So yeah, I'm sure Hot Toys probably considered all that and went with the design that they did for this. So it makes sense. Another thing that I kind of was that I noted in the review, again, it's probably similar to the previous version of Moon Knight, which again I don't have, so I didn't know firsthand. But for those that aren't aware, there is very little waist articulation front to back in this, which was kind of anticipated. At least I was anticipated on my end, because you can kind of see it's all one piece, right? And so with this material covering it, so anytime you have that over any articulated joint, it's gonna hinder articulation in some fashion in one way or another. So that was kind of expected. But yeah, in case some of you weren't aware, that's just be mindful of that. But yeah, overall, other than that, I mean, this figure looks really cool, man. It looks really awesome. So just one that wasn't gonna make it in my collection after all. All right, so from, let's see here, going on from Moon Knight to one of the, let's see here. Oh, what am I? Let's see. Oh yeah, I just got them mixed up here. Okay, so one of the Fantastic Four, we have the Thing. The Thing was released from Fantastic Four First Steps. So the movie, the Marvel Cinematic, the MCU movie that came out. What was that? Yeah, last year, 2025. We have the Thing, Ben Grimm, aka Old Blue Eyes. They call him Blue Eyes, right? Yeah, I mean, he has blue eyes. I can't remember if they called him that as well. I wasn't really into the comics myself, but I think I remember him, that being one of his nicknames. So the Thing, MMS 813, let's see, released towards the end of March. Also, this one was also discussed in episode 23. This was announced along the same time as Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic. So the other two, the Thing was announced with those two. It's kind of interesting how he's released first, though. Now, again, I'm going off of memory. I don't think Sue Storm or Mr. Fantastic have been released yet as of this recording. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting how, he came out first. I guess, obviously production, it just would make sense that he was in production first, or he just started in the process ahead of those two. I'm not sure. But yeah, anyways, discussed in episode 23, Hot Talk episode 23. We'll go through some of these photos here. He does have a removable long sleeve shirt or a sweater / turtleneck. He has this swap out head sculpt with the beard. He has the bearded sculpt here, which is cool. So you can kind of go for multiple looks here and put the beard on either the bare upper torso, rocky torso, or with the long sleeve here, the turtleneck on. Yeah, so again, it's cool that they give you the options to display those two, or display those different display styles. Yeah, I like this photo here. Again, this is done by YNT, so shout out to YNT. I like how he had fun with this, put Thing on the cover of Men's Health. And I wonder, when I was reading the taglines here in this photo, tips from the Thing: forget fad diets, lift heavy stuff, because behind every dumbbell is a true superhero. I was wondering if YNT came up with these on his own, or if he actually took Some of this from like took parts of this from a previous Men's Health magazine. Well, minus tips from the Thing, of course, or maybe I don't know. Maybe that was a real issue of Men's Health where they put the Thing on there just as a like, movie promotion. I don't know. I don't, as you can tell, I don't subscribe to Men's Health. That was I ended my subscription years ago. So yeah, I'm not sure on this one, but yeah, it was just cool, creative. I like how he did that, or how they did that. The Men's Health magazine cover, really creative and fun. Yeah, but this looks great. A couple of things I noted from the review that I've seen on this. Again, just for those who haven't seen it, or just kind of FYI, Ben Grimm does have the rubberized ratcheted arms, so it kind of has like the seamless arms that are ratcheted, which for a figure like this is helpful, right? Is a good idea because for one, you don't know how thick. I presume the material that goes over the base body is pretty thick, and so you want that ratchet to keep the whatever pose, like the arm in place on that. In this case, the arm and whatever pose you're looking for. Because if it wasn't ratcheted, then yeah, it's probably gonna the material is probably gonna push it back, kind of have some resistance and not keep it in that pose. So yeah, ratchet's definitely a way to go. I think was a good choice on this. There's a zipper on the back of the shirt that you so if you want to remove the turtleneck, from what I was seeing in the reviews, you have to detach the arm, which I mean I know again makes sense, right? And so it seems like they make it easy to detach. It just has like a ball peg that you can remove, so you have to detach one arm after you unzip the back of the shirt, and it should be quote unquote easy to remove. But actually, when I was watching more of the review, another thing that they pointed out was that it's still difficult to put on the shirt anyways, or the turtleneck is difficult to put on and take off, because the underlayer of the shirt kind of catches the texture of his skin, and so it's not like a smooth process, right? There's like some friction there, and it kind of catches onto the skin or the under layer of the shirt, so it kind of makes it kind of sticky. I imagine it's kind of like when you get out of the shower. It's like the first thing that pops in my head when you get out of the shower, right? And you're trying to you're getting dressed in whatever clothes, and your clothes are kind of like sticking to your body because it's still kind of your body's still wet, or parts of your skin are still wet, or still some moisture on there, so it doesn't go on smooth. So I think it's kind of something like that. Again, I don't know. I'm just, the way it was described, it kind of sounds like it's going to be like that. So just keep that in mind. It seems like it's going to be kind of difficult to take on or put on and take off the turtleneck on that for the Thing here. He does have drop down legs, which was cool to hear. I didn't realize that. Again, I don't know if that was mentioned in the description for when this figure went up for pre-order. So he's obviously wearing pants here, and you can drop down the legs with the pants on, and apparently it's still fine. Like, it won't damage, or I don't believe it'll pinch the pants. I don't know. Again, this just came out, so hopefully it's not an issue. But I guess we'll hear from other collectors who'll share their thoughts and experiences when they have this, I guess, and hopefully there's no issues. But yeah, it doesn't seem like that'll rip the pants at all. I think they're made of this stretchable fabrics where you can just drop the leg down on both sides, so you can make him taller also, right? So since he's wearing pants and you pull the leg down, you can make him taller when you're standing him up. So that if you want to kind of adjust his height in that way, if you want to make him kind of shorter than he actually is, you can do that, or make him taller. So yeah, it's kind of cool actually that you have that option to alter the height there just based on that. Let's see here. So in case some of you forgot, there were two versions of this. I think all the Fantastic Four figures came with a special edition that had a metal collectible card inside of this case. And it's like a clear case, like a protective case. So all of these came with one. I think there may be some photos here actually where he's holding right here. He's actually holding it. Again, having fun with this is kind of funny. It's kind of cool here. It's like a movie promo metal card here. Let's see here. The elbows don't bend 90 degrees, unfortunately. So like I was mentioning, I think that's, again, because even though this does have ratchets, I think the rubberized materials too thick, or in part of it's probably just because of like the musculature also prevents it from going from 90 degrees. But yeah, unfortunately you don't get a full 90 degrees on the elbows. The shirt apparently has a lot of thick padding in it, so that's going to hinder articulation a lot too. If you do have this, this is a good photo here because it has a look with the bearded head sculpt, and then with the turtleneck, and then one with the clean shaven and without the turtleneck here. So yeah, the two different looks, or the two different bodies. But yeah, like I was saying, it's just this turtleneck has a lot of padding underneath, and so that's gonna, I presume, it's gonna hinder articulation even more. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind there. And then yeah, I think actually that was it. I think I mentioned everything else. Yeah, and then there's reviews are out there, obviously you can go and take a look for yourself, but it's just I figured I'd share it here while I'm going over the release of these figures, kind of try to consolidate some of that information for you all. Hopefully that's convenient for you. I'm sure I didn't get everything, but you know, that's some of it, right? Some of it's to kind of help you out there on your decision on whether you want to get this or not, or if you're just curious. But yeah, overall, I mean, it looks good. The shading, I think, is done really well, man. Like really well, actually. Let me kind of go back here. I think we talked about this when we mentioned this when we were discussing the announcement. All the pitting on all the rocks, and yeah, just the washes and the shading. Yeah, this is awesome. Unfortunately, it's just, yeah, the articulation would have killed me for this. And I know it's kind of figure like this. You can, if you've been collecting long enough, you know, figures like this, it's kind of typical to see that, right? Limited articulation on these types of figures because they're so bulky and big, and that vinyl / rubber material over the articulated, or the joints, the articulation points, and the clothing. Yeah, it's just all a cause for limited articulation, unfortunately. But it does look good though, and I know that's one of the reasons why collectors collect Hot Toys, right? Is for the realism and the detail and the painting and the sculpt. Yeah, depending on the figure, of course, right? So yep, that's the thing from Fantastic Four First Steps. Next release on here, this was another one that was kind of announced and released. That's because it was another exclusive, and this was, yes, Iron Man, the Mark IV, another Fractal armor. This was the Haze Fractal this time. Let's see, this was announced and released at the end of March, right? So one day after the announcement was released. This is the third Fractal armor from Hot Toys. Let's see here. Hopefully I didn't. Oh, you know what? I just realized I didn't. Again, this is another. Actually, let me come back. Pause on the Fractal armor. Pause. Time out. Let me go back. I just realized I didn't. I don't think I compared the. I missed some proto versus final shots here. So let me go back to the. Sorry about that. Where are we at here? Okay, here we go. So, switching over to proto versus final to Oscar Isaac, the Artisan Moon Knight. I just realized I forgot to go over that. Apologies here. Let's see here. So yeah, like I mentioned, it still looks good regardless. Yeah, the hair, obviously there's gonna be some difference in the hair because it's, you know, artisan wool hair, so you're gonna have to style it. It won't come out exactly as a proto, but it's long enough to where you can style it. I'm hearing that there is a lot of product in this one, but yeah, I know some people are probably gonna be turned off by the hairline. I know in some previous artisan figures, some collectors are turned off by how that looks, like the hairline where the hair meets the sculpt. So, and it looks kind of it doesn't look as natural here in this photo, at least in the photo anyway. So I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments, for those of you who have it, if you're enjoying it. But yeah, again, kind of similar situation we talked about already. Same story, right? You lose some definition, some detail on the final, but it still looks good. I definitely can tell that's Oscar Isaac here. All right, so that was the Moon Knight, and then here is the Thing, proto on the left, final on the right. Yeah, I mean, it's it's a guy with a rock face, so not much to compare here, but yeah, you would hope that Hot Toys would get it right. I mean, if nothing else, I think the paint might be different, but it could be the lighting. Again, I tried to get a the same angle in both photos, like of the same head position, so you can kind of get a good comparison. But yeah, I mean, it's a rock face, a rock head. So yeah, I don't know how much you're gonna look into this one here, but you know, it still looks good. If anything, I think the final has more pitting and sculpt detail than the proto. But again, that could just be the lighting on the proto. It's kind of, some of the details probably wash out, I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, still looks good. Still looks good. Okay, now let me go back to, okay, Iron Man. Round 2, let me do that again. Part 2. Iron Man Mark IV Haze Fractal Armor. Third Fractal Armor from Hot Toys. And of course, we'll look at the other two. You know, I did put some photos together to compare, kind of show what the other two that came out so far. So this is the MMS 855. Again, I mentioned this is Mark IV. Let's see, this is 415 USD, limited to 2,500, like the other, limited like the other Fractal Armor were. Unfortunately, this is still available, so it didn't sell out. I don't know if, not sure. I guess a lot of people just weren't feeling this version. I personally liked it. I liked the design. I thought it was a cool concept. Just again, something unique, something different, but it's one of those ones where like, okay, you know what? How much do I really want this? I already have quite a few Iron Man. Actually, don't get me wrong. I have some Iron Man that are, you know, like the stealth armors, like the blues, the red and silver kind of, the pseudo Coke version ones. And what else do I have? Yeah, I have a bunch of different Iron Man, right? Because I love Iron Man, right? But this one is just, okay, I didn't want it that bad. And I think I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm good on Iron Man for now. Unless they come out with one that really stands out for me. But yeah, it's just past me. But I'm not going to lie, I was tempted by this one here. Because the color scheme, the more of the bluish, purples, grayish hues and tints on it. Yeah, this is kind of more like I would say a Fractal War Machine. This would be like a Fractal version of War Machine than Iron Man. I mean, it's labeled Iron Man because it's, you know, based on that suit, the Mark, like I said, the Mark IV, but the color scheme is more reminiscent of War Machine than it is Iron Man. It's just fractalized, but it's so, yeah, this one just looks beautiful. I think this is probably, of the two so far, this is probably my my favorite. And again, we'll compare here, but yeah, so it's going to be the same specs as the other one, standing at just under 13 inches, so 32.5 centimeters, 30 points of articulation, well articulated for Iron Man. I mean, you know, like all the swap out parts, LED light up function for the eyes that are battery powered, right? Because this is still based on the older technology of Iron Man. Hot Toys just recently started doing the transition to full USB, so this didn't make the cut. So obviously it's still gonna have it's gonna be battery powered. You know, your interchangeable shoulder armors, your forearm armors with the missile firing modes, the 6 hands, you know, pair of those being the fist, the repulsor firing hands, and one paired with articulated fingers. Yeah, it's similar to most of the Hot Toys Iron Man figures. They have a lot of similar accessories or types of hands and things like that. The deployable air flaps on the back of the armor and the legs. Yeah, so it's all pretty similar. Even the base is going to be similar to the previous two Fractal armors. The circular base that is USB, so that is USB powered, has light up. Same color scheme as you can kind of see here. Same color scheme as, oops, let me go back here. Here we go. Same color scheme as the this Haze color with like the grayish and gray whites and it's like some purple tones on it. But yeah, that is USB light up. Yeah, this looks really cool, man. Again, really cool. YNT, again, shout out to YNT doing his thing on the photos. Put this Haze in the gantry. I think this was the gantry that came with the Mark VI, I believe it was. This looks really cool. Yeah, damn, this is beautiful, man. I know some people are like, okay, next. Yeah, we get it. It's another Iron Man. Yeah, I know. But they're, you know, I'm sure it'll surprise you, but there are people who do love Iron Man like a lot. So I know Hot Toys is one of them. And you know, I really like this. It's just really cool, really beautiful figure. Like the colors and yeah, damn, man, this is something I would like to get my car painted in, just like this color again, because it's like the blues and the purples, like the iridescent tone. Yeah, this looks really cool, man. Really, really cool. Okay, so enough of that. So let me switch over to the comparisons here. So I mentioned two other previous Fractal suits. The first one on the far left was the Fractal armor. That was discussed in, let's see, I just realized I forgot to put which episode. So I'll put that link in the description below regardless. After the fact, I'll go in. That should be in there. You can check it out. But I did do a little more of a deep dive when this first Fractal came out on what inspired the design. There's a structure in China, and I forget, I don't think it's Hong Kong, or it might be Hong Kong, but Hot Toys had opened a new store, and there's a building close to there where that new store is, that, or a stadium that resembled, that had this kind of similar design. But anyways, I have photos of it. If you're curious, you can check out that episode of Hot Talk, and you know, I kind of go a little more in depth and show some photos on that that stadium, that architecture, where this, what inspired this Fractal armor. And they just carried it on from there. The next one was the Sub-Zero. That's more of like the all kind of white frosted Iron Man. And then we have this Haze version here on the right. Again, of these three, the Haze would still be my pick. Man, that just looks beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, and all three are still available. So I guess, yeah, collectors aren't feeling these fractals. So I guess there's even some Iron Man figures that the Iron Man fans won't collect. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's interesting too that Hot Toys decided to continue making these as well. Like, you know, like the first two, maybe like the first one didn't sell. You figure like, okay, people just didn't like that color scheme, so they did the Sub-Zero all white. That last I looked was still available, and so they made this next one. So I don't know. I mean, they can make what they want. You know, they're running the company. They make the decisions. So if they enjoy doing them and they like seeing them, then you know that's fair. More power to them, right? They want to. Maybe they're making the figures that they'd like to see as well. So, but yeah, it's a cool concept. Like I said, I like them, but not enough to buy them for me personally. It's just not, especially obviously these are pricey. Iron Man figures are pricey to begin with. So yeah. All right, let's see here. Okay, going on to the next. Let's see here. Next release. So going back to Kamen Rider. So this is Kamen Rider #1 and Cyclone. So kind of going back to this is the #1 being like the OG original Kamen Rider from the start of the series. This was, this one I did discuss the announcement of this in Hot Talk episode 12. And I believe I went a little more in depth on the background of this. The show was, you know, from the 70s and I think I went a little more on the actor himself. So if you're curious, link again in the description below, Hot Talk episode 12. So this was released April 10th, so a couple of months ago from as of this recording. Yeah, it looks good. Again, for all you Kamen Rider fans, especially like the traditional Kamen Rider fans, here you go where it all started. Again, from what I understand, I'm kind of going off memory here, but yeah, this looks cool. Here he is with #2, who was also released. We'll look at #2 here in a minute, but yeah, Kamen Rider #1 and Cyclone being the motorcycle, because that was their thing in the show. Again, I never watched Kamen Rider myself, so I'm not too familiar on the significance of the motorcycle other than just to get around instead of taking the bus or his Kamen Rider van. I don't know if there's a van or a dune buggy or something, I don't know. So but he's got the bike, he's got the Cyclone. Yeah, this one was really cool. Again, I won't repeat it, but you can go watch that previous discussion video. This one, I believe I said this was like a model announcement for Hot Toys because it had leather and USB on the belts and parts of it. Yeah, it was just, there's a lot of cool things about this figure. Again, I'm not personally interested in this figure, but the features that it has as a figure are really cool, and it kind of seems like this would be like the bar for Hot Toys going forward for what it comes with. So yeah, the head sculpts came out really well. We'll look at the comparison proto versus final, but yeah, this looks really, really good. I think this is really cool. Again, congrats to all you Kamen Rider fans. You are all eating good, because yeah, not only this one, but they're coming out with all kinds of Kamen Rider figures. Yeah, which is awesome to see, to kind of support those fans out there, that community, the Kamen Rider community. this collection. Yep. All right, so that was number 1, and then we got number 2. Number 2. Here we go. Number 2 being this is the Kamen Rider that took the mantle of Kamen Rider after a while. I think after the again, I talked about this in a previous Hot Talk episode. This one was episode 23 is where I talked about this one. I don't know why it's so far apart. Hopefully I got that right. Regardless, it'll be in the description. Link will be in the description below if you want to check it out. And I went over a little bit of backstory on this one as well. So you can kind of see what I was talking about, where the Kamen Rider, like the helmet covers all of their face. I mean, it's like a full on helmet, whereas the V3 we're looking at only covered half the face, the upper part of the head. So yeah, that was kind of interesting here, whereas traditionally it was like a full-on helmet. On helmet here. The way I just realized this photo here, got to get that back shot here of this number 2. I don't know if that was intentional or not. They had to. Kinder, shout out to Kinder. Kinder knew what he was doing. He tried to get that angle, trying to recreate that Selena Kyle, that Dark Knight Rises pose of Catwoman here, but on this bike on Cyclone. It's funny. I just now noticed that photo. Man, that was good. That was good. I see you, Kinder. I see you. Oh, okay. So these are different. So at first I thought these bikes. So they each came with there's an option where you can get the set where you can get this figure with the bike, and I thought the bikes were the same. And I can't remember if I pointed this out during the announcement photos, but the exhaust pipes here, the exhaust on the 2 bikes are different colored. One has like more of a blue, and one has like a lighter metallic blue / silver color. Yeah, so that's interesting. I didn't catch that. But other than that, I don't know if there's any other differences. You guys let me know. At first glance, I'm just like literally now noticing that. Looking at the other photos, I thought they were the same. I thought it was the same bike, but no, apparently they were different. So yeah, keep that in mind too if you're wanting to get a particular bike, like one or the other, if you prefer one color over the other as far as the exhaust on those. So yeah, cool. Again, shout out to all you Kamen Rider fans out there for getting your these figures in your collection. All right, so we're coming up to the last few figures here. So next release from Hot Toys, we got Blade, continuing on the Deadpool and Wolverine train. Man, all kinds of figures. It's another line that had a bunch of figures released from it. So this is Blade, another one that was anticipated by a lot of collectors. Finally came out. Part of the Resistance. Unfortunately, Hot Toys has still yet to announce the rest of the Resistance. Those being Elektra and Gambit, and who else? I think that was it. I think those were the only 2 actually. So I know some people were hoping that they would release those. So far, we got Deadpool, X-23, and the Human Torch, the Chris Evans version. Those 3, that was part of the Resistance. I guess I don't know. It was Human Torch part of the Resistance? I'm trying to remember now. Yeah, I guess he was. I mean, he wasn't like. He wasn't in that photo, that tease that Hot Toys did, where they kind of showed each of the members of the Resistance. I don't think they had a Human Torch in that one, but in the movie, he was supposed to be part of the Resistance. But yeah, so again, Zord killing it with the photos and the poses here, having fun with this figure. Look at this X-23 paired up with Blade. Let's see here. Let me make sure. Okay, yep. I just realized I just forgot again. Okay, we'll come back after that. We'll keep going through these Blade figures, so it's too late. I'm already in it. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Yep, Blade and Wolverine. Oh yeah, awesome pair up, man. Eye of Wadu. Shout out to Eye of Wadu. Also take some awesome photos, blogger photos. He has fun too. They have fun with the posing on these figures. You got Blade in the brown suit, Wolverine here. Yeah, all these blogger photographers, man, they do a good job. Yeah, it comes with this one. Let's see, Blade. I can't remember if I mentioned this. Apologies. So this was released the end of April. I discussed this figure in Hot Talk episode 12 as well. A couple of things that I made note of when I was watching the review here that I'm not sure if I was aware when this was announced, but The glasses and the scarf are removable from the dial base. I'm not sure if that was mentioned in the description on Sideshow or not. The machete slots into the dial base as well. So if you want to put that in there. Oh no, it's not a scarf. I called it a scarf, and I just watching the video, the review, I realized it was Toad's tongue. But the way it was formed, the way it's shaped, it looks like it was a scarf when I was kind of looking at it from just like the photos with it. I guess it's supposed to be Toad's tongue, which I completely forgot about. Yeah, so you can kind of see here. So let me see if there's another photo with it. But yeah, the goggles. That's what it is. The goggles in here. I can kind of see. Let me see if there's a. Let me just do this instead of scrolling through all of them. Let me kind of go through these photos here on face. Oh, here, well, I guess there's this photo. Yeah, okay, here we go. Here in the middle. Yeah, see it? You know what I mean? It kind of looks like it can pass as a scarf, if you want to call it a scarf. Yeah, but just put it around someone's neck. You try to pass it off as a scarf, and someone comes up in your collection like, why is this figure have a green tongue around his neck? Oh man, yeah, I don't know. It kind of looks like it could be a scarf. At least it was to me. Maybe I'm just tripping. I don't know. But here are all the weapons, anyways, all the accessories that Blade comes with. Here it's showing the machete, like I was saying, kind of slots into this the base here in the middle. And then for those of you who may have forgotten this, there was a special edition of this version that came with the an additional hilt of his blade. So if you recall from the Blade, the previous the Blade movies, like his own movies, his films, he has his sword had a feature or a gimmick where if you didn't know how to activate it or hold it, it would, like these other smaller blades would kind of spring out from the hilt, right? And it's supposed to be like a defense mechanism for someone who wasn't aware, trying to take his sword. And so yeah, this has the those hilt blades, I guess if you want to call them, like those protection blades, extended out. And so the special edition came with that, whereas the standard edition just came with the sword with like the standard hilt there. So I thought that's really cool. They included that, and then if you remember, he actually didn't have this sword at all in the film in Deadpool and Wolverine, if I remember correctly. He just had the machete. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. Hot Toys included that here with this figure, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's interesting, but it's kind of cool that they did do that for those who do wanted some sort of representation of that Blade from the previous films, from his own films, his own trilogy. He has that sword there. So yeah, I noticed sometimes Hot Toys does that with certain figures, that they'll include certain things that doesn't necessarily go with the figure. Like speaking of, like the Deadpool, I think, what was it? The first version of Deadpool that was released from Deadpool Wolverine came with the what was it? I think that's the one that came with the golden guns or some. I'm butchering. I'll just stop there because I'm forgetting. There was like I think it was the golden guns, and he wasn't supposed to have it in that scene. But something along those lines. I probably got that mistaken, but you guys know what I mean. There's like certain points where Hot Toys will give you a certain accessory, a certain item that doesn't necessarily go with it, but it's an added bonus. So it's kind of cool that they include that sometimes with some of those figures. Yeah, also really cool. Look at some of these photos. Look at this. Again, this is done by Zord here. All they got the Pool family kind of juggling and somersaulting over Blade, or Blade's just taking them all out. Kid Pool running away here in the back. Yeah, really cool, really fun photos here. Let's see here. What else did I note? Limited head articulation. Apparently, for some reason, he has limited head articulation on this, as far as like the neck, I think it was. But I mean, some of these photos looks like you can rotate it for sure, but I think as far as like moving it front and back, I think that was the case. Let's see here. So there's the machete comes with a sheath that's supposed to attach magnetically to his back, but apparently that doesn't work very well. And so yeah, so that's something to keep in mind there. Also, his pistol or his gun magnetically attaches to like this I guess that's supposed to be a holster. I don't know what you would call that because it doesn't fully enclose the gun, but it's like attached to his thigh, and so like the gun just attaches to that pistol protector. I don't know why. I don't know what you would call that, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, a couple of magnets in there, but yeah. Anyways, the sheath for the machete doesn't work that well, or as far as like magnetizing to his back, the magnet's not that weak, or it's not that strong, so it's kind of weak. So just keep that in mind. And then lastly, apparently his glasses have the Oakley logos on them, which I don't know if that was mentioned in the description or not, but you know, Hot Toys seems to be kind of coming through for getting the licenses on some of their either accessories or the articles of clothing now. As another character we'll look at here next, actually, I think, yeah, was also the case. So yeah, Blade got the Oakley logo on his glasses, so that's kind of cool to see for those of you who actually wanted to see that and wanted that detail, or maybe you're just a fan of Oakley's. I don't know. You can have those and put those on other characters. So yeah, that was Blade. And then let me go back to switch over Proto versus Final. Here's a Proto on the left, again Final on the right. Again, another one. I think this looks good. I'm trying to see now, like the facial hair, kind of lose a little detail just based on this photo, but it could be the paint too. I think the sculpt might be there. It's just there's more paint on the Proto. I'm looking at more of his chin hair, the white chin hair, than in the Final. But yeah, you even got some of the vein work here in his on his forehead. Yeah, so that looks good, and then some of the details and the wrinkles on the skin. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think based on this photo, I think it came out good. The Final head sculpt. Obviously, he's older, so they're reflecting that here. He's older in that film, regardless, or anyways. But yeah, still, yeah. For those of you who wanted this Blade, yeah, I think it came out good. Let's see here. So I just messed up again. I realized I didn't compare the head sculpts for the Kamen Rider, the previous Kamen Rider 1. Kamen Rider 2 didn't have a head sculpt. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. I know I mentioned that in the discussion video in the previous Hot Talk, but in this one, yeah, Kamen Rider 2 doesn't have a head sculpt, but the Kamen Rider 1 does. So let me go back here and show you that. So yeah, here's the head sculpt. I mentioned the head sculpt looked good when we were looking at the photos earlier, but yeah, here's the Proto on the left again, Final on the right. I think they pulled it off. I think the hair is, yeah, as good as it can look. I think some of the details washed out. Again, it's probably because of the lighting in this photo, because it does look more detailed in the Proto, but again, I think it might be like the lighting. It kind of stands out more, whereas in the Final, it's kind of hard to make out. So, or maybe that's not the case. Maybe it just, you do lose some definition, some detail in the Final. So I'm not sure. Again, I couldn't really tell too much, but again, just give you an idea. Either way, the face sculpt itself, it looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks, pretty close. Good enough for me. Like if I were to get it, like, yeah, I don't see any big difference personally. So yeah, that was Kamen Rider, again, comparing the head sculpt. All right, and then that was Blade also. So going on, we're down the last two figures, last two releases here of Hot Toys that I was catching up on. Next up, we have a Rain Carradine from Alien Romulus. She was released the beginning of May. This one, I realized I didn't discuss this. I don't know why. I tried to look back in my previous Hot Talks. For some reason, I completely missed this. I think I intended to, but I either forgot to include it somewhere, or it got cut off, or I don't know what happened. But yeah, sorry, I don't have the specs on this, but I figured at this point too, it's like already, like I said, it's been out for a while. So if you wanted this figure, I'm sure you'd gotten it. I still will go over some aspects of it and go over some points I read in the review, and some of the stuff you can kind of see is kind of self-explanatory. Like she comes with this pulse rifle that's painted like a white and red, mostly white with like red orange accents on it. Let's see here. So seamless silicone arms. Again, didn't mention anything on this, what type of silicone material, at least not that I recall. Let's see here. What else to note? Oh yeah, so this is another example, like I mentioned. So how just like Blade got the Oakley logo on the glasses. Hot Toys surprised us here after the fact, right after this figure was announced, and got the license for Reebok here for her shoes. And so, yeah, so like from some of you who may know, in Aliens, I think Sigourney Weaver's also an Alien in Alien 1, or Alien and Aliens, which is the second movie. Here we go. She also had Reeboks, if I recall correctly. But yeah, so they got here. You can see it says Reebok, and Hot Toys did a post on this on their Instagram. I think on a social media for Alien Day, which was April 26th. You know, for LV 426, the ship that they were on in I think it was the first Alien film. But anyways, it was the name of the one of the ships. So that was Alien Day, and Hot Toys posted a photo of these shoes on there. And at first I thought they were gonna be like they were gonna sell them separately. They're like, hey, you know, rejoice! Hot Toys got the license for Reebok, and so I thought they were gonna sell these separately. Or maybe they were hinting at another like a updated version of Ripley from Aliens or Alien. So a lot of people were kind of thinking that as well, myself included. But and maybe that still might be the case. I don't know. But regardless, these shoes ended up being included with Rain, so that was a nice surprise to see. So yeah, maybe they may use these and just repaint them for, knock on wood, fingers crossed, an updated version of Ripley from Alien or Aliens. I personally would go for the Aliens look because that was my favorite Alien movie, the sequel. But no, yeah, this still looks good. So yeah, licensed Reeboks. Face hugger on this that she comes with. She does come with the face hugger accessories, the same sculpt, same exact one actually. It seems from the that Hot Toys gave us with the Scorch Xenomorph that was recently released. Hot item, that Scorch Xenomorph. No pun intended on that one. But yeah, that face hugger is also articulated. I think there was a photo here I passed that had all the accessories. Yeah, so here's a face hugger here. On the top, you can kind of see. Here's a pulse rifle again, with the stock that does extend and kind of fold out. So that's kind of cool if you weren't aware. Let's see here. Oh, and alien parts, some like busted up, burnt alien parts, like part of a xenomorph head with an upper torso that are in two separate parts. So that's kind of cool that she comes with that. And the base, the diorama base. Whoops. What did I do? Just messed it up. Messed up my photos here. I'm scrolling too fast. The base, where is it at? Oh, well, I guess let me go back to this photo. Where's a good photo of this? Let me go back to these here. So the base, apparently, I didn't realize this was reused from the first Bane figure. Not the newest Bane that came out, but from the first Bane from a Dark Knight Rises movie from, what is the MMS 183. So this is the same base that was used from that. They just put alien parts to cover some aspects of it, so you didn't see the Batman logo. I didn't catch that at first, and so it wasn't until I saw a review that pointed that out. But yeah, so I mean, in case some of you were wondering, you know, if that base seems familiar, that's why. So yeah, I think I mentioned the seamless silicone arms, and I believe that's the only thing that was seamless on this figure. At least that was mentioned. Another thing, again, limited ankle articulation, but this time it's, I don't know if it's understandable or not, but it's because of these boots, right? So these boots are all one piece and like kind of like a hard, thick material. It's like a stiff plastic. So it doesn't allow for ankle articulation. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, the jeans, she has dark jeans on that has some rips in it with a Weyland-Yutani short sleeve shirt and this armband over the elbow. She does have, like a lot of figures, right? She doesn't have seamless wrists, which is, I think there's no way to get around it, right? If you want interchangeable hands, it's just physics, right? You have to have them. You have to have the hands detached from the forearms in some way. I know some companies have got around that by doing making the arms detachable at the forearm instead. So the wrists themselves are seamless, but you know, then you have like the forearms that are not seamless, which is okay if you have like a long sleeve shirt, right, to hide those cuts, to hide the seams. But here she has a short sleeves shirt on. So yeah, either way, you're gonna see the seams at some point. So yeah, it's kind of hard to get around. You could, if you wanted to, maybe you can kind of put on some. Well, she does have this band here with her watch on her left hand, so you can kind of slide that down. That's okay. You can kind of slide that down to hide the joint, the wrist joint on her right hand, though. You know, maybe you can slide down her her arm, her elbow pad that she has, her, I guess, elbow sleeve. What is the purpose of that? I'm just like, now that just popped in my head. Like, what's the purpose of that random sleeve just floating there over your elbow? Is it just that to kind of protect your elbow if you need to rest on something? I don't know. But anyways, you can kind of slide it down to cover the wrist, but then it'll be kind of loose. So yeah, I mean, at least you have that if you want to do that, because the elbows are seamless. But no, this figure looks good. I was kind of tempted by this one too, just because she does look good. The head sculpt does look good on this. Again, we'll look at the I'm remembering this time. We'll look at the proto versus final on this one as well. But I do have the Scorched Xenomorph, so it'd be good to have something to go with that. But this would be good, or I probably should just wait and see if they do a Ripley and just could have that be my my heroine. I probably should watch how I say that. I mean, my female hero, not the drug. Don't get it twisted. My female hero. Let me just go with that. Don't strike me, YouTube. That not the way I meant it. My female hero. Yeah, to pair with to go against the alien. I mean, but this is still cool to have, man. I don't know. I'm still, yeah. But again, if I'm already deciding I'm on the fence, that probably already tells me I should pass, right? Just following my own advice from earlier. But this looks cool, man. Let's look at these photos here. Battling, yeah, paired with the Xenomorph. Yeah, really cool, really awesome. Yeah, I think I might just wait for Ripley. I don't know. I say that now, right? But all right, going back to switching over to the comparisons, proto versus the final. Here, as usual, protos on the left, finals on the right. Again, I don't know if it's, I think it might be the lighting and the shadows. For some reason, the eyes look different. Oh, they're a different color. I'm just now seeing that. Like, I didn't catch that before when I was putting these photos together. Did I miss the memo on that? They're like, her eyes are brown on the proto, but on the final, they're blue. They look like they're blue or either hazel. Was there like, so sorry if I completely missed this. Like, if I was like out of the loop and this was like a whole war battle going on in the comments and Hot Toys social media on this figure. If this was the thing, like people, calling out for a correction on this, I don't know. But this, I did not. I'm just now picking up that difference. So yeah, like I said, I've been behind. I've been out of the loop, and I'm just now catching up. So I haven't been following it as closely. So yeah, apologies if this was a known thing and I'm just missing it. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, was this a known thing? Were people aware, or was like intentional that they fixed this? Yeah, I'm not sure, but regardless, besides the eye color, I think what I was getting at was more like the eye shape itself. Something seems different, but I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's just because, again, the lighting, the shadows are adding to it that make them look deeper or something, or more angled. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, that's like some changes there. It's kind of interesting here that the hair, again, as usual, like the hair loses some definition, some detail. Like they have the strands there. That's kind of cool to see here. The strands on the hair, on her on the right side, and over the ear. But yeah, that's kind of, well, yeah, that's like interesting now. I don't know. I think the likeness is lost a little bit. I mean, it's still like a beautiful face sculpt, but it's just, yeah, I have to look at it. I have to go back and look at the actual actress and compare the two. So that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't catch that before, as far as like the eye color. So yeah, this one's a little more. There's a little more change here percentage wise compared to the proto that we've seen like before. Compared to like the others, there's like a slight downgrade in like the detail, but this has more changes to it. It seems. Yeah, interesting. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with that here. But yeah, either way, it's not a big deterrent for me personally. Nothing to be like, okay, I'm out. That's it. Shut it off. Game over. Game over, man. No, it still looks good regardless, like either way. But yeah, let me go ahead and switch back and go through some of these blogger photos. There we go again. Start over. Yeah, so But no, we're already pretty much gone through it. Yeah, that was Rain, Carradine, Alien Romulus. Yeah, it could be a fun figure for those who are just big Alien fans in general and just want everything aliens. I'm sure you'll definitely be adding her to your collection. I know some people that there's a complaint or a critique that her clothing was not as weathered, or it could be a little more battle damaged. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yep. Yeah. All right. So on to the last one here. Last figure, going back to the MCU from the sci-fi genre of movies here. And we got the big one himself. We got Red Hulk, President Red Hulk from Captain America Brave New World. This one was announced, let's see here, or sorry, released at the beginning of May. This was discussed in Hot Talk episode 14. So again, link will be in the description below if you want to go back and take a listen to that and what our thoughts were for this Hulk. Yeah, this one had quite the controversy on this one. I think you can probably see why. But I mean, it's nothing new, right? We all saw this. I say we all, like collectors or who were kind of potentially interested, or this caught our attention. The obvious thing is the the visible joints on this figure, both on the shoulders and on the knees. Unfortunately, I think that was the biggest outcry. Is just like a lot of people just their distaste for the knees and the joints, and that really turned them off. But I think ultimately, yeah, it just came down to making a choice between, like it usually is, right? For figures, you got aesthetics or articulation, like I've discussed multiple times before and in previous episodes. It's just like it's always, you have to make a choice, right? And you can't either make a compromise, or you're gonna have to lean more into one or the other, the aesthetics or the articulation. And then in the previous Hulks, I think they leaned more into the aesthetic. Not to say it was full aesthetic because they weren't seamless, but those had single jointed knees. I'm talking about like the previous the Mark Ruffalo Hulk from the Avengers, and what is it? Avengers Infinity War, I think, was the other one. The Professor Hulk from Endgame, that one had the leotard on, that bodysuit, so it was kind of, I always call it bodysuit. So I'm not sure what the joints looked like underneath there. But yeah, as far as like the Avengers Age of Ultron and the first Avengers movie, those had single joints, and then even those had limited articulation, like where the knee didn't even go past up to 90. I don't even know if it got 45. I'm trying to go off of memory. So the articulation was really limited on that. And even the Age of Ultron, they gave collectors a swap out upper torso that was like a power pose, basically, right? If you recall, where he's that Hulk is kind of doing this pose where he's about to do a Hulk smash. So you got to swap out torso with that, and so that kind of gave collectors like the seamless appearance that they wanted in an upper torso, but the knee was a single joint, and so not as bad, but again, you limit articulation. So I think with this one, again, I'm not I don't know for sure, but maybe they wanted to go with more articulation, make this one more posable, more dynamic, this Red Hulk figure, so they gave him double jointed knees, which if you watch some reviews, you get way more of a bend than you did with this Green Hulk here. Speaking of, you have him here, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So this is the Age of Ultron Hulk here with the upper torso. I'm pretty sure this is the Age of Ultron, the Mark Ruffalo version here, right? And you can kind of see this is like the swap out torso that's all seamless, but again, this power pose, so no articulation, and then he has the single jointed knees, which are hidden. I would say, well, I don't have any of these Hulks, but from what I've seen, the joint is pretty well hidden by the pants because it covers it. But again, with that, you lose a range of articulation there, and so with this Red Hulk, you do get more articulation, granted, but at the cost of this visible joint, and the pants they don't cover it that well. I don't know if that's accurate to the film or not, like the actual length. So I know that's another critique that collectors have with figures in general, not just Hot Toys, but just figures and how they're made, is accuracy to the source material, right? And I know that's a a big pet peeve of some collectors where it's the accuracy is not there. They shy away from certain figures. So again, there's a lot of compromises or decisions that they just ended up making. It's not going to please everybody, right? So it's usually the case when you do that, when you choose one or the other, some collectors aren't gonna be happy with certain choices, and it's just, unfortunately, that's just how it is, right? It's just how it's gonna be in all aspects of life, not just collecting. So yeah, but happy for those of you who don't mind the visible joints and are just happy to have this Red Hulk in their collection, let alone one of Harrison Ford. I think that's the biggest thing, right? You get like a figure of Harrison Ford as a Hulk in your collection. I mean, who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? I know we discussed this when this was first went up for announcement, having a version of Harrison Ford from like 3 different IPs in your collection. That's just a cool concept to say in general, to have that 3 different versions or iterations of Harrison Ford representing different characters. Let's see here, but I will say that the torso and the arms are seamless. So like the torso has like this rubber material. Same for the arms. The only thing that's not seamless is obviously the shoulder joints. There hasn't been a Hulk that has seamless joints. I'm trying to think that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Yeah, no, there's no Hot Toys Hulk figure that has seamless joints. But I think I take that back. I think I think that is right. Actually, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the chat, in the comments. I'm sure you will, anyways. But yeah, I don't think there's been a Hulk figure with seamless joints. But again, I think it's just because if you do, then you're gonna lose articulation, which some people are okay with, right? Again, it's just kind of your preference in collecting. Some collectors prefer to have it look aesthetically more pleasing and have limited articulation. And then there's collectors who want more of the articulation and don't really mind having the visible joints. So yeah, to each their own. So again, I think that's Hot Toys just made a choice here and it went with it. And something to consider too for you fans of Jazz Inc. I know Jazz Inc.'s kind of the opposite, right? Like I know they're one to kind of get a lot of feedback on their Facebook posts. Like Yost specifically, he likes to get consumer feedback and do a lot of polls and give consumers or collectors options during the figure design process. And I know some people are kind of turned off by that. They're like, just make the figure, and if I like it, I'll buy it, and if I don't, then I won't, type of thing. And so that's kind of like 2 extremes here. Where I guess it would be extremes where Hot Toys is like, they're not asking for any input, right? They're making all the decisions, and they're just like, okay, we're doing this. We think this is best, or we think this is going to be more efficient, cost efficient for us. I mean, of course, right? We always say that they're a company, they're a business. Of course, they're going to want to save money, like all of us, where we can. When we go out and buy products or we make something ourselves, we're going to try to make it for more or less the least expensive as possible. So I mean, it's understandable, right? They're a company first, they're business first. So yeah, they just make their decisions considering multiple factors and go with it. And then if collectors like it, they'll buy it. If not, then then they'll move on to the next. Whereas Yost, on the other hand, he gets all that information up front. Hey, what's going to please a majority of the collectors with the figure that I'm making, which I respect, which is cool. I like that he does that, and he gets community involvement and gets them all together. So sorry, I know I went off on a tangent, but I just thought that discussion topic was appropriate for this here because of, again, the joints on this and how it's going to be. So I don't know, hopefully Hot Toys, I think it's at some point we will get a all seamless Hulk from Hot Toys, just like we eventually got a fully USB Iron Man, right? They eventually swapped out from the button cell batteries to a full USB, where like everything is just lit up with one USB cord, which a lot of collectors were asking for. So I think it's just a matter of time. It's just, I think it's going to be pricey, though, honestly, to tell you the truth. If you go with full silicone, you have to consider, I'm guessing the skeleton. That's why they usually use metal skeletons with full silicone bodies, because You want that base structure to be durable and last a really long time, if not forever. Because if something breaks underneath it, right, I don't think you're gonna be able to repair it. Like, it's done. You just have to. Like, you can't even get. I would say you. I was gonna say you could probably get a swap out part, but you would have to get a whole new body, right? So you don't want that to be plastic. So you have to count for the metal skeleton underneath or the structure, and then you have to fill in that space over that metal skeleton, right? So it can't be hollow, so you have to fill up all that silicone. Yeah, and so you just think about it like a Hulk, and this guy is like, how big is he? I forgot to put how big he was. I think it was like 18 inches, I want to say. Maybe I'm 16, 18 inches, somewhere around there. He's big. I mean, you can obviously see from like some of the photos here. I think he was bigger than this Green Hulk. Look at this. Here's a good comparison. Here's Sam Wilson, Captain America, and that's about 12 inches, I want to say. And yeah, like, just so yeah, you figure all that silicone. You have to come up, yeah, like they would have to come up with new molds on that, and the articulation is going to be limited on that as well. And but yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of factors in there. I think Hot Toys will eventually do it, but it's just, like I said, it's just they have no reason to at the moment because there's no one else making Hulks in this scale. So why would they? Like we always say, competition breeds innovation, and innovation and just progression, right? It's just going from there. So if no one else is, like, they have no reason to, why would they, right? They're just going to keep milking this this system that they have, the process they have, until they need to, basically. So I think it will come. There's a time when we probably will see it, but again, who knows how long that material will last. Like I said about the Weapon X silicone body when we were talking about that earlier, we don't know how long that silicone material is going to last too, right? So if you're paying like, I don't know, $500 upward of $400 for a Hulk figure, yeah, hopefully you would want it to last, right? So that's, again, I think it's maybe that's another part of it too. They want to see how long the silicone material lasts before they go out and spend the money to make a full seamless Hulk. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas and just talking out loud and kind of giving my thoughts on this talking point here. I know it was a lot for just this Red Hulk. It's just all the stuff I was thinking about, because I was curious. I'm curious like you guys, like, why haven't they made a seamless Hulk here? And watching the reviews, I started thinking more about it, and I started looking at other reviews. I know there's that Hellboy, the David Harbour version of Hellboy that had seamless arms and upper torso. I can't remember if it had seamless legs, but had seamless arms and a torso. But that, again, that was like a 13-inch figure, right? So it's a slightly bigger than typical 6-scale figures. And that, articulation was limited on the arms, of course, right? Because you won't be able to go all the way up. And then that wasn't even silicone. That was like rubber on that Hellboy, I believe. Some sort of like vinyl/rubber material. And so, yeah, it's probably like a little more thick, a little more stiff. Yeah, so, and this is like, what, 16, 18 inches? I forget off the top of my head, but yeah, it's a lot to consider, especially if I were Hot Toys. There's like a lot of factors in addition to cost, obviously, and like the engineering. You want something like that would actually work, and a lot of things to account for, right? To actually like have some sort of work on all levels, right? The painting too, the painting detail and the texture. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I do think we'll eventually see one though, but it may be at a cost. It's not like a financial cost, but maybe at a cost that sacrifices something else. I don't know. And they can always improve on it from there, right? They can go from there, and just you have to start somewhere and just go from there. But all right, so yeah, that was enough on Red Hulk. I think I covered everything I had thoughts on for that one in particular. Let's see. Yeah, I think that was it. Oh, 2 head sculpts. This comes with this gritting teeth one and this yelling one. I thought that was really cool that they did that. It doesn't come with a lot of accessories. Again, I know we talked about this before, but just to kind of a reminder, FYI, on that. Yeah. All right, so let me switch over to the last comparison, Proto versus Final here. Proto on the left, Final on the right. So let's see, did I do comparison of both? No, so I only did a comparison of the gritting teeth sculpt. Apologies, I forgot to put in the angry yelling one. So, but what I'll do is I usually put these on my social media, so Instagram and Facebook. I go through and I put these comparison photos on there as well. So if you're interested, you can follow me on social media. Link will be in the descriptions below for both my Instagram and my Facebook. So if you want to keep watching those when I post those, for you all to kind of go back and reference. But yeah, here's just to give you an idea while we're talking about it, while we're discussing. I don't know if it's just the saturation in the photo, but he does look more red on the final than in the proto. I do see more texture detail in the proto than the final, but it's still, I think, again, I still think it still looks good. Like the teeth look awesome. On the proto, the teeth look really realistic. Again, I don't know if it's just like the lighting, but damn, that looks real. Like the way they're painted and sculpted, and yeah, those on point. The final looks good too, but again, maybe it's just because of the lighting, because they're not as bright. But the wrinkles, they got the wrinkles all around his forehead, around the eyes and the nose, the way he's scrunching up his face. Yeah, I think it looks good. So looks good overall. Good overall. And yeah, I'll post up the photos for the other head sculpt on my social media. But yeah, that was Red Hulk, Captain America, Brave New World. And yeah, that was all of them, man. Okay, so let me switch it up. That was, yeah, announcements, releases. Thank you for staying and watching. If you saw the whole thing, appreciate it. Thank you for your time. If you got any part of this, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Hopefully you found some of this informative or entertaining at all. If you did, thank you. Don't forget to hit that like button if you did. That would be appreciated. If not, regardless, I just appreciate your time. And yeah, I still got more figures to catch up on. There's a whole lot of Star Wars, so if you notice there wasn't any Star Wars in this, that's because that was intentional. I wanted to put all those. There was just so many Star Wars for the month of May. I think that whole month of May, Hot Toys like dedicated to the most part to Star Wars. And some of the figures that weren't Star Wars, I included in this one here. So I don't know if you caught up, you caught on to that, but yeah, I think for the next 2 episodes of Hot Talk, they will be Star Wars themed, and I just combined all the Star Wars figures, announcements, and releases into those 2. There was so many, man. Star Wars collectors were eating good, man. 6-scale collectors. It's just, yeah, Hot Toys were cooking on that one. So, yeah, a lot of figures. I will go through those in those next 2 episodes of Hot Talk, episode 41 and 42, I believe. If not, just take a look at the YouTube channel. It'll be on there. Just keep it locked. Of course, subscribe and to get those notifications when those go up. But yeah, I will be putting those up. I'll be working on those and putting those up. Aside from that, just stay tuned for. I would like to get Figure Lowdown going again. That's for those that aren't familiar, that's the stream where I talk about figures outside of the main players of the 2 scales. So outside of Hot Toys, outside of InArt, Jazz Inc. I talked about other 6-scale figures on there. And on the 12-scale side, I talk about pretty much everything outside of Hasbro, basically. Or, well, I should say most of the figures that catch my attention, that catch my eye. So I'm hoping to get that back up and going. Let's see what else. So yeah, Figure Lowdown, and then Chilling and Chatting. Sometimes I'll do those occasionally. And then also I have my Feezy's Media channel. That's my channel where I discuss movies, TV shows, video games. I'm not as active as on that one, but I'm starting to pick that up as of this recording. So we'll see where I'm at with that. I'm just juggling those 2 shows. So yeah, if you're interested, link in the description below. If you want to check out that channel, a lot of different discussions on there as well. So, but with that, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, appreciate the support. I hope you enjoyed it. And with that, take care, have a good one. Enjoy the hobby, play with your toys, and just have fun in life. Catch you on the next one. See ya.